Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the C.D. Racula Show. Today's show we will be reviewing the Stephen King novel, Needful Things. This is one of my top 10 favorite horror novels of all time, by the way. And over the last 100 years or so, I've read thousands of horror novels and even written a few myself. So that is pretty high praise coming from someone as me. This 1991 novel, written by the master of horror, Stephen King, was also later turned into a 1993 film adaptation. I don't want to be that guy. I mean, I hate to be that guy. Just kidding, I love being that guy. But I will say that this novel is much better than the movie, as is 99.99999% of the cases with horror novels turned into subsequent horror films. Your own imagination is always going to take you to your own personal darkest places. And that's why novels are always scarier. Always. So that's why I always implore you bozos to get out and read more. But of course, no one ever listens to old CD anyway, so on with the show here. The show must go on. This novel is set in Castle Rock, Maine, and if you follow, read, /watch Stephen King stuff, you'll understand that he has lots of crossover characters and places. This novel is no exception. Castle Rock. Let's talk a little bit about Castle Rock. Castle Rock is featured in many of his novels, and some of you may have yourself watched the series of the same name, Castle Rock. Okay? Needful Things also features a sheriff by the name of Alan Pangborn. Remember that name. Hume is also featured in another of Stephen King's novels called The Dark Half. That novel, by the way, and I'm speaking about The Dark Half, is also in my top 10 and definitely worth a read as well. The basic plot of Needful Things, and we're back to Needful Things here, is a shop by that same name, Needful Things, opens up in the town of Castle Rock. The shop is run by a very mysterious and more than slightly creepy shop owner named Leyland Gaunt. Mr. Gaunt seems to have exactly the thing that you may or may not have been looking for. Isn't that a coincidence? His customers become so entranced with his product, whether it be a lamp, glasses, or an old baseball card, that they're willing to do anything and everything in their power in order to own the object and protect it. He makes some little deals, Leyland does, for payment with these customers in order to own the objects. The deals he makes seem innocent enough most of the time, but in the small town of Castle Rock, they end up igniting a powder keg, exactly as Mr. Gaunt has very sinisterly puppeteered the whole situation to work out. And there are some very violent outcomes of these little deals. I love the descriptions of Leyland Gaunt in this novel. When he touches people, they're repulsed by him. Leyland Gaunt kind of holds a strange mind control over his customers, and I keep saying the word customers, but it's more like victims. I'm unsure of what Leyland Gaunt actually is in this film. Is he evil and most vile? Yes, for sure. But there are plenty of evil humans out there, and he is most definitely not human. Here is my theory on what Leyland Gaunt is. Because I don't really think he is the devil, as many fan theories have claimed before, but he does capture people's souls, so he just may be. But here is old CD's theory, so gather round the campfire, boys and girls, and listen close. In my last episode of the C.D. Rakula Show, I reviewed the made-for-TV miniseries Storm of the Century. If you recall that series, and I bring this up because of this, if you recall that series, the main bad guy was named Andre Lenoge, and he seemed to have a supernatural hold over people in that town. Kinda reminded me a bit of Leyland Gaunt and Needful Things. Very close. So here is my theory, and feel free to comment and shoot me down if you wish, whether you agree or disagree with old CD. Here it is. I think that Leyland Gaunt and Andre Lenoge are cut from the same cloth, and are actually the same being or entity bent on creating hell on earth for mankind. I think both characters aren't the devil necessarily, but are definitely not forces of good by any stretch of the imagination. They may even be the right hand of the devil for all we know, but definitely some kind of demon or wizard or something. In the series, The Storm of the Century, Lenoge proved that he could change his form. So why couldn't he change his form into the shopkeeper, Leyland Gaunt of Needful Things? And again, it's just my theory. Maybe I'm thinking about it because I recently reviewed the miniseries, but I'll tell you what, they seem eerily familiar to me. They just do. It struck a chord with old CD. Please comment down below on what your own theory is on what the heck is Leyland Gaunt. I just don't know, you know, and I'm curious. Just a little curious Georgie Porgy over here. The cool thing about this novel is, as is so many Stephen King novels, it does not end happily, and I like that. I like it a lot. After Leyland Gaunt is run out of town by the resident hero sheriff, Alan Pangborn, remember that name, it appears that he has set up shop to pull all his naughty little tricks again at a new shop in a new town called Answered Prayers. A lot of people seem to think that Stephen King is not very good at ending his novels. I personally think that although he certainly has some endings that, you know, so-so, and some are better than others, I think that people like for the ending to end all happily, tied in a little cutesy-patootsy little box with a nice pink bow tied on top. Stephen King, he leaves your guts out on the highway sometimes, and that doesn't sit well with some people. I think that's why he gets some bad press on that sometimes. It's just fine with old CD, probably because I'm not a people at all. In closing here, please like, share, and subscribe to the C.D. Rakula Show, because although I'm not a human, I'm most definitely a very needful thing. Don't forget to join us next episode when I review the 1996 film From Dusk Till Dawn. Till next time, if you go into a shop and they have exactly the item you want for such a cheap price that it must be too good to be true, maybe you're in Needful Things and are about to sell your soul to Leyland Gaunt. Or maybe you're just in Walmart. They're basically the same thing anyway. Ta-ta, ta-ta.